Personal finance on the morning drive. It's owning a car this time. James Thomas is a UE licensed independent financial consultant, and he is back. Nice to see you.
And you, good morning.
It's a perfect topic for you, this.
It is.
Isn't it? I know. Cars and what they cost. And I know.
Split, not loyalties, but, when you asked me to come on the show, whenever it was, 6-8 months ago.
Nearly 9 months ago.
Nearly 9 months ago.
Yeah. We could have had we couldn't have had a child, but you could have had a child. You know where I'm going with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yes, when you said, would you like to have a little segment on the show? It was like, is he going to ask me to do cars or finance?
Oh,
split loyalties.
And I went for finance, and you were like,
darn. The sensible one.
So this is both, but
Yes.
you love your cars, and
I do.
you know a great deal about cars, and you follow Formula One and all of that stuff. The thing is this, right? Cars tend to be a drain on finances, so it works quite well as a segment. And I've got some examples for you. In Dubai, it's a necessity for lots of residents because the city's very spread out. There's limited public transport in some areas, so it's
Definitely
very much
getting
a car.
better, but yes, it's very much a car.
We're in a car city, aren't we?
And you see the RTA and the expansion of the road network, it's still very much car-centric.
Exactly. So what's the cost of car ownership? It varies significantly depending on the type of car you drive. So what I wanted to do is try and break down look at the annual cost of car ownership for different categories. So I picked a few categories: luxury cars, budget-friendly stuff. But I thought, first of all, we'll start off with the cost of owning a car, because we all know if you own a car, you know what it costs, but how much do you think about it is the point.
Absolutely.
So I've been thinking about this recently because my daughter's been here. So she's got a driving license, but she's new to driving and new to the roads. So I was dropping her at work. She had an internship in Media City. So I was dropping her there. So that meant I was going there. I was going through Salik a few times. I was in Sharjah a couple of weekends ago. Went through different kind of toll gates, and then I got this notification. It adds up,
Ping,
and
ping,
it was
ping.
like, and I hadn't really thought about that. Then I'm thinking about petrol, and obviously with fuel prices at the moment.
Yep.
So here are the costs of owning a car, and I'd sort of forgotten. I don't have any car loans at the moment, which is fine, but I've still obviously bought the car.
Yes.
So, initial purchase. So either you spend a lump sum, you pay for the whole car, or you finance the car.
Yep.
It's a lot of money, and then you pay it back monthly, whatever. Your registration fees, your licensing fees, your e-dirham, your insurance, whether that's comprehensive or third party. You're thinking about fuel and fuel efficiency when you're driving a car, or some people are, but you still have to.
Yeah, no, just on that,
fill your car
absolutely.
up,
There was one of the local newspapers had an article exactly that: people downsizing, using more fuel efficient cars, even switching to metro if where and when they could, because suddenly, since the situation has developed in the region, fuel prices have gone up 30%.
That's right.
Suddenly, that's a lot
queues
more.
At petrol stations at the end of the month.
End of the month, yes, because they knew, because obviously it's published what the new rates are going to be.
Exactly.
I would hope that the prices have been reasonably consistent this month, so I don't think we will have that. We might, if we're lucky, even have a small drop. But yeah, it's suddenly when you're, especially with a larger car, if it got a 100-litre tank, suddenly it goes up 30, 40, 50, 60 dirhams.
I used to have a car with a 169-litre tank.
There you go.
I think it was 2 tanks, but I mean,
But either way, when
that
you
would
went
have
to
been
fill
painful.
yeah.
At the moment. No, but you're right. And so you've got initial purchase financing, registrations, licensing fees, fuel efficiency, insurance, maintenance and or repairs, who knows, Salik, toll fees. You've got potentially parking fees. Depending on how you drive, you may have fines.
Hopefully that one's optional, but nonetheless.
But it
it's
is
there.
part of
It
the
is
cost.
part of the cost, yeah.
Right, so those are the things, several factors to consider. So I thought, I'll let you do this and run through this because you're much better at figures than I am, but I wanted to break it down in terms of vehicle registration and insurance and look in a little bit more detail. So let's run through those. Initial registration, just under 400 dirhams.
Yep.
It's like 380 dirhams, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And there's a other fees on top. So you're looking at 400 dirhams.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So that's which includes the vehicle inspection.
Yes.
Insurance really depends. Obviously, it's mandatory. You can get third party. Premiums start something like, you may get deals, but they're usually 750.
I haven't seen any less than
dirhams and up.
750, yes. No. And then it's obviously dependent upon the car. Interestingly, a colleague of mine has been looking at electric cars.
Okay.
And he has seen some wild variations in premiums.
Really?
On the same model, but just different specifications between, I think it was ranging from 1,500 to 6,000 dirhams for seemingly the same car, but they do a single or a twin motor model.
Right. Okay.
And that additional performance really pushes it up the categories, how it's assessed by the insurance company. Yeah, and the premium for the insurance was way higher, way higher than even I had considered it would be. So again, well worth just doing a few quotes, ringing a few insurance companies.
Oh, that's definitely true. I mean, looking at this
before
today,
buying.
I've learned that looking at this today, insurance can vary wildly. I mean, I guess
And obviously your
motors,
age as
more
well.
speeds, potential for incident, whatever.
Yep.
Age, the other side. Comprehensive insurance, broadly speaking, 1,500 and up. Really depends on the vehicle, the model, the make, etc. Fuel prices, they've been up low compared to global standards, a lot of people would say, but it still makes a dent.
It does. I mean, we're probably 50-60% lower than the UK and Europe. Right. But when you've been used to 3 dirhams or less, 250 a dirham, and it's suddenly now best part of 4 dirhams a litre, and you're clocking up, as you do, you think you live in quite a small place, but as you've just described, you can very easily rack up 300, 400, 500 kilometres in a week without too much difficulty, and suddenly that's a couple of tanks of petrol.
The other side is, with the road network the way it is, the road's pretty good, let's face it, you maybe tend to drive a little bit more.
Yes.
Because you can.
Yes, I mean, you just said you've got to take your daughter to the airport shortly.
Yeah.
From here to the airport is a round trip getting on for 100 kilometres. But it will only take you 70 maybe, but I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
But we won't even think twice, and yet to do 60 miles in the UK, that could be a couple of hours.
Could be a couple of days.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But as you say, you can very easily accumulate a lot of miles and therefore a lot of cost to do that.
Maintenance and repairs is the next one. So routine maintenance costs, I mean, it's very hard, but ballpark figure could be 250, 300 dirhams, could be a couple of thousand dirhams every 6 months, depends on the vehicle, the service provider. If it's an oil change, who knows?
It's one of those, how long's a piece of string? But those figures are very, I would say, very reasonable.
They're in the ballpark.
You know, one big service a year, so your spark plugs, your filters, your oil, fluids. Yeah, a set of tyres, maybe every couple of years.
Well, that's the other thing. Actually, that's a good point.
You know, and if you've got low profile, wide tyres, they can easily be in the thousands per tyre.
Yeah.
Suddenly the costs really can ratchet up.
Okay, so routine maintenance, major services as well. Tolls.
Yeah.
I know that the tolls on it is not super expensive, but between 4 and 6 dirhams every time you go through.
Yep. And if you do Sheikh Zayed Road from Abu Dhabi to the airport, I think you get pinged 3 times. Might even be
2
4
or 3 times now. I'm not sure, but there's also Darb in Abu Dhabi as well,
yes.
which there's no off peak there. But again, it's 4 to 6 dirhams per crossing, depending on time of day. Additional costs, parking. Parking is part of the cost. The other thing, repairs, if you, add into things like car washes or interior cleaning or things like that. Think about depreciation. That's the big one.
That is probably the biggest single cost that people don't even consider. I won't say it's hidden because it's definitely there, but
it doesn't feel like a cost.
But it doesn't feel like a cost. You buy the car for 100,000 dirhams, 3 years' time it's worth 50.
What's interesting about that is it's just accepted. It's just part of people will say, "Oh, I wonder what the car's worth now," And you're not really even factoring depreciation in. There's this understanding that as soon as I drive it off the lot, it drops 20% or whatever the figure is at the moment. And then in 3 years' time, I'd get that for my car. That's great. But you don't think back and think, well, I actually paid this for the car. So the point of all of this discussion today is really, I was looking at it thinking, wow, that's a bit of money.
And you can see why. I mean, being a petrol head and loving my cars, you tend to not turn a blind eye, but just try and not think too heavily about it. But then putting my finance hat on, these are absolutely, a car is an absolute money pit if you are not careful.
Yeah.
And it's then how much do you want that particular vehicle? It's like any other item that we've discussed infinitum in our previous conversations.
Yeah.
While it's a physical thing that's very difficult, mind you, lots of people now do buy online, so there is still the money, the cart that you click and put it in, which I find very strange. I want to go touch, feel, sit in, test drive, but I believe a lot more people now do just literally buy and either have it delivered or collect. I know that's, if we'll talk models, but Tesla, that's very much their model. It's by the time the car's ready, it's all paid for, and you just turn up and drive away. And even whether it's the same here, but I've seen in the UK, they send you a code to your phone that unlocks it. The keys are in, I don't think it even has a key, but the access is all through your phone, and you have no interaction with a real person.
Oh, okay.
But as an aside, but my point is, it's just to be aware. This is what I'm, the finance angle is that, already we've racked up some significant numbers that we just take not for granted, but don't. They
almost don't factor
in.
in.
They don't factor. Yeah. The desire, the wants, the need, inverted, is it a desire, is it a want, or is it a need?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where we're going to come on to the different vehicle models and how those costs ratchet up dependent upon what you do choose to purchase.
Well, I've done this in a different way, okay? I mean, I downgraded a few years ago. I had a great big, basically a tank, and then I bought another, like a sedan, and the difference in the cost was it's still staggering.
Yes.
I figure I don't look as cool as I may have thought I looked, but put that to one side, and it has made a huge difference. But let's take this as an example calculation, okay? A new or a very low mileage, budget-conscious sedan, something like a Toyota Corolla or similar.
Yep.
All right. Let's say the car costs 75,000 dirhams. That's reasonable for a new or very low mileage, decent sedan. So you put a down payment on that. So you pay 20%. So that's 15,000 dirhams.
Yep.
There's a cost. Okay.
So straight away, you've got to find 15,000 dirhams.
You've got to find 15,000 dirhams. Say you take a loan for that car, and you then have to pay, 60,000 dirhams plus the interest. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So assume 1,000 dirhams a month and assume it's 5 years. There you are.
Makes sense. Nice and easy. But
nice, simple maths. Let's look at the insurance for a car like that. A car of that value, you could be looking as much as, a few thousand dirhams. It's more likely to be something like a couple of thousand dirhams a year.
Yeah.
All right. There's your cost. Fuel, tolls, what are we looking at? 4,000 dirhams a year as an average. If you work that out in your head, would you agree with that? If you look at the amount of petrol you need, if you put in, if you drive regularly and you fill up, say once every 10 days.
Yeah, I don't think any of these numbers are
around 600 a month.
Yep.
Could be even higher than that.
It could be higher.
Okay. But so let's give it 4,000 to 5,000 a year. So we're on the side of conservatism. Maintenance for a car, low mileage, new. Let's say we're on the side of conservatism again and look at 1,000 dirhams. There may be some kind of warranty system in there. You may not pay anything, but there may be some maintenance to do. Registration, other fees, something like 1,000 dirhams a year. So you've got an annual cost there of 21,000 dirhams. Okay?
Yeah.
21,000 dirhams. That's your annual cost. That includes the fact that you're paying for the car and you've paid the down payment. Okay?
Yes.
21,000 dirhams a year.
So
That's
times
the
that by
cost.
5 if that's how long the loan period is.
Exactly.
So
Can you even times that by 5?
I'd like to think so. I might.
So you've got 105,000
105,000.
and then you've got interest principal on
And
there
then
as well.
you've got the interest on
the principal, yeah.
on the principal as well. But without that at all, assuming you could get a 0% finance, which
Okay.
so you're 105,000 plus the 15.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 120,000,
Mhm.
and it's probably then going to be worth in 5 years' time. Let's keep the math simple. Let's halve it.
Okay. 37,500. 37,500 dirhams.
That's what you're going to recoup. Put into the next car because you're still going to need some form of transport, unless your circumstances have changed dramatically.
Mm. Now, the thing with all of this is these figures they're extremely approximate. It all depends
That's all they can
on
be.
type, habits, market conditions, all of that other stuff. But the point is, when you look at it that way, it's a pretty stark realization that you are spending a great deal of money for the
Yes.
privilege of
Now-
that independence.
Exactly. What does that car give you? That's where I would say are the massive positives. It gives you that independence.
Yeah.
Well, it gets you to work because it's very unlikely that work and home are at the same location.
Yeah.
It allows you to go and visit your friends and family. It allows you to dare I say, it's very grand, but to live. You're not stuck unless you can. But you could also argue it allows you to live somewhere that's more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Than having to live somewhere maybe on the Sheikh Zayed Road corridor where you can access the metro. I know the metro's been expanded, but that's still coming as opposed to already here.
Yep.
I know you can use buses, but from here, you can get a bus down to Mall of the Emirates, but you've got to wait for that bus. It's 40, 50 degrees outside. You've then got to get the metro to wherever it may be. And if wherever your location is not within walking distance, there's another time, cost.
Yeah.
So therefore, it does buy you a lot. But it's just to highlight the fact that this does not come for free.
And this was just a very simple sedan, a very kind of a.
This is a.
I don't want to be rude.
No,
say
not at
entry
all.
level, but that's really what this
Yeah.
was accounting for.
It's a vehicle that doesn't have any. Again, even a Corolla now has plenty of bells and whistles. It's very difficult to get a basic car, but nonetheless,
Great car.
it's a great car. Will last forever. Really well built. As I say, this is not to belittle a Corolla in any way. But it does the job.
All right then. So it's a stark reminder, and I think a lot of people. You might be thinking, listening to this or watching this, yeah, I know all of this, but it's just the point is, it's a reminder of what
You may
we spend.
but when I think again, it's that excitement. I need a new car. I want to buy a car. Again, it's the difference, the need and wanting. When it's the want, you forget, push down, hide. There's just that. Well, no, we won't look at all these costs. I want this now.
This is coming from a petrol head
Exactly.
who has a rather nice SUV and a classic car.
I do.
Yeah, I know.
The SUV is now 11 years old. I would just caveat.
No. I'm not accusing you of anything, but you are a man that likes a nice car. I wanted to put this across. Say you want a luxury SUV, the likes of a Range Rover Sport or a higher end Land Cruiser, the one with the great big engine, or something like that. Really desirable, but much higher insurance, maintenance, fuel costs. Okay.
Yes. I mean, let's pick on the insurance. If nothing else, because the purchase price is much higher, insurance is a percentage of the value of the car.
Between
so immediately
1.5% and 3.5%, so depending on the.
And if it's
vehicle,
the sporty one, then it could be up to 6%.
Right. Okay.
So I think that goes back to the electric car example I mentioned, because it's pushing it up into that category.
Okay,
Suddenly, it was a much, much higher percentage of the value. So absolutely, so straight away. But then you've got a bigger car, so there's all the components are bigger, the brakes, all the weight of the vehicle, the suspension is under more load.
Yeah, so the tyres are under more load, and
it's just that.
Yeah.
So everything is then bigger.
Yeah.
And normally, when it's bigger, what does that mean? It's going to cost more. It's going to will it wear out quicker? Well, it depends on how you drive it. But if you take your Land Cruiser and go off-roading in the desert, of course, that's going to
Yeah.
I know they're built for that, but nonetheless, it puts more strain, more wear and tear on that vehicle.
It does. So what I did is I put together some costs if you wanted a car of that ilk.
Yep.
So you want the prestige, you want the comfort, you want the off-road capability, but you have to understand that that's higher fuel consumption. It's a more expensive car in terms of maintenance, all right? So I put some costs together. This is why I sent this to you yesterday, to see if you thought I was completely outlandish.
Not at all.
I think it's close. So if you register and you license your luxury SUV, you're looking between 650 and 1,000 dirhams. Depends if you have to open a traffic file for a new car, which is a couple of hundred dirhams.
Yes.
So it could be nearer the 1,000 dirhams. Comprehensive insurance for a luxury SUV, it's very, very difficult. I took a mid figure. It could be as low as a few thousand, really depends on the price. Could be as high as 15, 16.
Easily, yes.
So I put in 8,000 dirhams in this box in the table created here. Fuel per year. Obviously, these cars are much thirstier.
Yep.
So I looked at around about 10,000 dirhams a year for fuel. I'm assuming you're doing 20,000 kilometers a year, which would be relatively...
I think that's a pretty average figure.
Reasonably average, I think. And you're getting around about 6 kilometers a litre.
You've done a lot of sums here.
Again, it's an average.
Yes.
Okay, so I spent a bit of time thinking about it. Maintenance and repairs for a car of this ilk, very, very hard to say. But I put a figure in there of 15,000 dirhams because a major service for an SUV and parts for an SUV of the higher end, much higher.
Yep.
Salik tolls. I had no idea what to put in here, so I put a couple of thousand dirhams. I'm assuming you're driving to work or living or working in Abu Dhabi or whatever for this. I also put in parking here at 6,000 dirhams because I'm looking at this as a prestigious work vehicle, and you need to park at the office. Anyway, you could lower that figure, but it still comes to around 42,000 dirhams a year.
Almost double the figure of the sedan.
That's the point, almost double. And it doesn't factor in buying the car.
Nope.
That's not even part of this equation. That's just the annual cost.
That's the running. So it's twice the cost.
Yeah.
And I would say that's pretty conservative, knowing people
some of it's conservative, some of it's on the higher side, the parking and everything else. But
the maintenance, repairs, the insurance... They could easily be more than the figure. And again, they could be lower. They could be, but why I'm just so... And knowing people in the industry and seeing when these cars come in for service, I mean, you need a set of brake pads, discs rather. Suddenly, you're in the many thousands of dirhams if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And all right, that won't be every service, but they will be more frequently because it's got a lot more mass to stop. So again, it's... When you stop and do this, again, it's a really interesting exercise. How much do you want that vehicle?
That's the question, isn't it?
It's going to do ultimately the same job. It's going to get you from A to B, give you your access to work, to your lifestyle that you wish to lead. That sounds very... But that's what we're talking about here.
We're talking about affordability.
And it's affordability. That's when it really bites. If you look at that number, that's no problem. Then, like I always say, great. But if that's a squeeze and then you're having to sacrifice, for example, putting some money aside for your future, then I would start to question whether it is sensible or not.
Then it might be a false economy.
Yes.
Okay.
Why are you doing this?
But it's a reminder, isn't it, that if you look at that's double the cost of your simple sedan.
Yes.
I mean, there are lots of ways of doing things cheaper and buying a second-hand vehicle and having third-party insurance, and you can bring down the cost. But when you outline the actual costs and you sit and do what you do when you sit and make your financial plan,
precisely.
It's that blank piece of paper.
It's that blank piece of paper, and you start totting these things up, and suddenly you realise, again, you get this nice shiny new vehicle, and it looks amazing because the garage has clean, polished it and hoovered it and valeted it, and it looks brilliant. You see that? Yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
And he says, she says, here's the finance deal. Just put down your 10-15%. It's going to cost you this much a month. The excitement builds.
It does.
But then it's 50,000 dirhams near as can be every year for the pleasure, and that's not, as you say, not including the repayment on the loan that you've then taken out.
Yeah.
So you could easily double that figure with a loan repayment as well.
Think of it on a monthly basis. You look at that, what was that figure? 42,000.
Yep.
So that's 3,500, 4,000 dirhams a month. It's in that area. That might not be much to some people, but if I haven't factored in the fact that you've got to buy the car, put that on a monthly basis in there in terms of a loan plus the interest, that could be another 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 dirhams a month. So you will immediately looking potentially at 10,000 dirhams a month. That's a lot of money.
It is.
And when you look at it that way, and then you look ahead that you have a 5-year loan, that's it's just the stark kind of reality of that. That was all. Just thought it was an interesting argument. I did it for a number of different cars, and I think the SUV is kind of the top end.
Yes.
It's not the top end, but it's the top end certainly in this instance, and it makes a point. I wanted to ask you very quickly. We've got to finish, but classic car ownership.
Yes.
Maybe this is actually something we should come back to at another point.
We can do, but
It
classic
could be
car
an interesting
ownership, I
thing
would
to do.
argue, it's for most people, it's none of the things we've talked about. It's because you have a passion for a particular
different
brand.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be your weekend toy. You might use it at high days and good, nice days, maybe to work in the winter.
Yeah.
You're not going to be. It's not the car that you rely upon for your main form of transport.
But it is obviously as well. There's the other side to that is maybe an investment.
It could be an
piece.
investment, much
There's
like people say
potential
about
there.
watches. They say about other nice things. Don't look at it as an investment. Classic cars have done amazingly well over the past 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Is that going to continue? Who knows? You see and we really haven't got time, but cars like the Jaguar E-Type are actually now starting to fall in value because the people who wanted them have got them and are now getting to age. Much your dad with his Morgan.
Oh, he's got his Morgan, yeah.
But they're looking to sell.
Yeah.
Because they don't want these anymore. They've had their enjoyment from.
Can't get in and out
Oh,
of it.
there you go. I didn't want to say that. But it's the same with the E-Type and the older models like that are
it's
actually
true.
starting, and it's the 80s and 90s, the hot hatchbacks, the saloons, the fast saloons, the early M3s, BMWs, that sort of thing that are absolutely flying in value because that's what people had on their walls as a child.
Have you noticed how all of a sudden your eyes...
Exactly, I'm lit up. Listen to me.
There's been a change. It's noticeable. That's all the time we've got, unfortunately. James
We can come
Thomas
back to that.
is a UE licensed independent financial consultant. Not lecturing about money, just a bit more careful than most of us.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Good to
Enjoyed
see you.
that. Thank you.
Thank you. Wherever you find us, like and subscribe. This is Mira Business FM.